welcome to another edition of Have You Seen It? I'm your host, Denise, and this week, the movie I'm going to review is Bob Marley, One Love. This movie was released on Valentine's Day, so it hasn't been in the theaters long, so you've got plenty of time to check it out. Okay, this movie is the story of how reggae icon Bob Marley overcame adversity and his journey behind his iconic revolutionary music. The movie stars Kingsley Ben Adir, Lashana Lynch, and James Norton are the central characters in the movie, but clearly there are many other actors that you may recognize. Wow. I must say that prior to viewing the movie, I didn't know a lot of history about Bob Marley, other than the fact that he was a reggae singer and he smoked quite a bit of marijuana. So, that's what I knew about him. That was my knowledge. So he's obviously much older than me. So when I was kind of introduced to him, I was, I guess, high school-ish, maybe early 20s. But this movie takes place in the time period of 1976 to 1978. And when the movie starts, there is clearly some social unrest happening in Jamaica. There's social unrest between the Jamaican Labor Party, which was a capitalist party, if you will, and the People's National Party, which was the Socialist Party. So you have a conflict of interest going on in Jamaica, and so much unrest between the two factions that, the police are on high alert and they are suspicious of a lot of the people who live in this particular area of Jamaica. And then you have citizens who are kind of fighting against each other as well. And so you've got people walking around with, guns and assault rifles. And it's just an unsettling situation for the community at large. And so Bob Marley was a person who he did not have a political horse in the race. He did not endorse either party. His simple message or his existence revolves around the philosophy of the Rastafarian culture and the belief that songs that incorporated situations and topics of poverty, the life that these Jamaicans were living, the social injustice, those were the things that appealed to him, and he used his platform of music to relay that message outward, because the social, economic, and political oppression, not only in Jamaica but throughout the African diaspora, that was his whole deal. And so there was a feeling that he may have favored one party or the other, and the theory tells us that perhaps the assassination attempt that was made on his life at his home had something to do with that. We're not quite sure. That's just a theory. But, you know, an attempt was made on his life. He was injured, his wife Rita was injured, and his right-hand man was injured. There was a concert that was to take place in Jamaica. It's called the Smile Jamaican concert, and his family and his close associates were afraid that, you know, you might not want to do this particular concert because there's already been an attempt on your life, so you might want to chill. But again, his message is about hope and love and peace and harmony. And he does the concert, but then realizes that, you know, there may be something to this threat. And so he self-imposes an exile. And he goes to Europe, he goes to London, and for 18 months, he is there with his bandmates, and they are just putting together the next album, if you will. And so in the film, you see a lot of jam sessions with him and his musicians. Because of the threat on his life, he has sent his wife and his children to live in Delaware so that, you know, they are safe, because him being close to them, and if someone else is trying to make an attempt on his life, that wouldn't be safe for them. So they are in the United States, but he is doing his thing in Europe. He's there for 18 months. He puts together the album Exodus. And this album, according to Time magazine at the time, was deemed the best album of the 20th century. And that is from Time magazine in 1999. They claimed that that album was the bomb. So that's basically the movie. While he is in Europe, though, that is when he receives the cancer diagnosis that eventually he succumbed to, a rare form of skin cancer. And so at the young age of 36 is when the world lost Bob Marley. So that's basically the movie. It didn't go in depth with regard to the two political entities. It didn't go a lot into depth of him and his wife's relationship, or, you know, his family dynamic. But if you are a Bob Marley fan and you like reggae music and you want to hear some good music, reggae is not my preferred genre of music. I can take it in small doses, and so this movie was about the dosage that I could handle. So check it out. It's not 2 hours. It's about an hour, 45 minutes in length. So there you have it. Bob Marley, One Love, in theaters now. All right, folks, I'm going to jump into my Nailed It for this week. And my Nailed It for this week is the makeup and costume of the movie Maestro, starring Bradley Cooper. Bradley Cooper is nominated for an Academy Award, Best Actor, for his portrayal of Leonard Bernstein, and the movie is nominated for Best Picture. Let me tell you just a little bit about this. For 6 years, Bradley Cooper studied conducting because Leonard Bernstein was a conductor. He studied for 6 years to play this role. He studied conducting for 6 years. He learned to play the piano. He spent 5 hours in makeup, and the makeup was phenomenal. Not only did he have the facial prosthetics, but he also had prosthetics for his arms and his shoulders that actually changed his posture so that he could assume that posture of Leonard Bernstein. You got to see the movie to see his transformation. The transformation was fantastic. So I'm giving the movie Maestro for costume and that era of Leonard Bernstein, that particular era. I love the costumes and makeup for the movie Maestro. All right, folks, you can subscribe to our YouTube channel. Make sure you hit that like button. And remember, we are available on every podcast platform in the universe. Just type in, "Have you seen it?" with Denise, and there I will be. All right, moviegoers, until next week, you know what to do. I need you to go see a movie because I'm going to see a movie. Until next week, bye-bye.